hello again, everybody. Lance Russell and Dave Brown right along ringside. By golly, we're about ready to go with more big action.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Georgia Championship Wrestling. I'm Gordon Solie, your host, and we have quite an hour in store for us.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Championship Wrestling at ringside. This is Vince McMahon, along with wrestling's only living legend, Bruno Sammartino.
Welcome to this week's edition of Mid-South Wrestling Television. I'm your host, Boyd Pierce, another outstanding card.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another edition of the Regional Wrestling Podcast, where we talk the territories. I am Ray Russell, and we continue on with various projects here in the regional wrestling world. A couple of Georgia projects, St. Louis, of course, Chicago. Just covered that with Richard Vicek again recently. Got more of that on the way. We're setting up the Florida 1980 project. AWA on ESPN has just debuted with Roman Gomez. Lots of great stuff going on right now as part of regional wrestling. Hoping to have Aaron Gartland back very soon as well. He's wanting to talk a little bit more about his Alabama memories. But this week, we've got another project. We've had this one going for quite a while now, and we're going to bring back on the man, my co-host, my guest for this particular project. We're talking about Memphis, CWA 1985. More of the Jerry Jarrett, Jerry Lawler territory. And in order to jump back into the summer of 85, let's welcome back on right now. He is meaner, by God, Gene Jackson. Welcome back to Regional Wrestling.
Well. Here we are back in 1985 Memphis, Ray. And I'm afraid not much has changed since the last time we visited here, but we're forging ahead nonetheless.
I just covered a Coliseum videocast featuring George the Animal Steel this morning, so I'm all in right now on 1985 Memphis. That's
Holy shit, boy. I got off that train just in time, it sounds like.
Choo-choo. Yeah, it's pulling out, dumping out. I don't know what it's going on there, but yeah, that's another story for another day. The Coliseum cast, you guys can check that out at the Patreon right now. This is Regional Wrestling, guys. Gene Jackson is back. We're doing more Memphis 85. We're in the summer, July of 1985 now, Gene. And lots going on. I'm not saying a lot of good things are going on. Of course, we're getting hammered by certain people on the interwebs and the social media. We kind of made it clear our stance on the last episode, but apparently that just made people even more irate with the fact that we just don't take this damn show seriously enough.
Yes, Ray. How could we not take Bota the Witchdoctor seriously, or Big John, or Tojo and Jerry Jarrett in their wrestling gear out on a farm with Big John? Like, this is serious business right here, sir. We should really get our act together and give this the respect it deserves. Kiss my ass, folks. If you think that me and Ray should take this more seriously, like, I don't know what to tell you. You really need to sort yourself out. I mean, I don't understand these people that are like, oh, wrestling's supposed to be so serious. Like, professional wrestling, what it pretends to be is not, it's not that serious, folks. It's not the whole concept of dudes in their underwear pretending to fight is fucking silly. So, you know, if this is just bugging you that we're not being serious enough about this dumb shit, then I'm not speaking for all of Ray's shows. Please listen to all of Ray's other shows, but feel free to fuck off from this one.
Well, I actually run this show, so I can't necessarily say those exact words, but I will admit this, and my sentiments very much go in line with you, Gene, because obviously there are other shows that are more serious. Here on my podcast network, on your network, I mean, we have certain shows that require more seriousness. We sit down and we dissect and we discuss. But when we get to something like this, we're just having fun. It's okay to laugh. You can sit down with your friend and make fun of each other and laugh, and you're still friends right at the end of the day. And that's kind of what I'm doing here with wrestling. I'm having some fun with it, but I still love wrestling at the end of the day, if you can't tell by the 46 shows that I have here. Yeah, but it's insane. The people, they're telling you how they want you to run your show. There are other shows out there. I was brushing my teeth this morning, and we're touching on some comments that have been made across social media, YouTube, whatever, about some of the shows we've recently done. And I was brushing my teeth this morning, and as I was doing that, it just popped in my head. I said to myself, I've heard enough AM radio when my grandfather was driving me to school. If you want to listen to old, boring people talk about whatever and treat it seriously, go turn it to the AM station. We're FM here. We're having a good time.
Yeah. I mean, you know, if you don't like the way me and Ray handle wrestling on our networks, do what everybody else does. Go start your own podcast. That's all you got to do. There's not enough wrestling podcasts out there. Go start your own, and you be the NPR of wrestling podcast, and see how that goes for you. I wish you the best of luck.
Well, I got to go in line with that. But at the end of the day, man, we're here to have a good time. And that's what we've done ever since the very beginning of this project. Even if it's been bad, we've had a blast covering it. We've had fun talking about it.
I just like to say we react accordingly.
Yeah.
When there's things that's seriously good and there's serious things to talk about, we handle it as such. And when it's just so silly that you can't do anything but have fun with it, then we react accordingly and we have fun with it. And I think most people get that. I think most people appreciate that.
I think so.
But unfortunately, sometimes the naysayers are the ones that speak the loudest, and we've already given them more time than they deserve. So
that's true. And at the end of the day, you talk about wrestling, and I talk about logic when we talk about wrestling, because my son picked back up his WCW binging, enter Hulk Hogan 94, and now he's actually moving into 96 now. He's been on a truck in here this summer, but I had to explain to him because he was calling into question all the logic or lack thereof, and I said, look, buddy, there's human logic, there's wrestling logic, and then there's WCW logic, right? And I said, so stop asking why, ask why, and that's kind of where we are in Memphis 1985. There's Memphis 1985 Tom Renesto logic, and we're going to talk a little bit about that again this week as we go to recap last week in the Memphis territory, like we like to do at the beginning of every show. Dave Brown was on vacation, and let that be a lesson to you all. Always save a few vacation days for when your territory takes a turn for the shits, right, Gene?
I just picture Lance. Well, when do I get my vacation? This is terrible.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, Dave called that one right on time, I'd have to say.
Well, we saw last week, though, Lance had to put up with a Buddy Wayne bearer coming out spouting off all sorts of off-color comments about the PYT, leading to what appeared to be the babyface turn of Koko Ware and Norvell Austin.
We thought Tuck said some bad things, even though they were his guys. Boy, Buddy Wayne just really let loose. But
oh yes, he certainly did.
Oh no,
oh no, indeed. Well, so it looked like the PYT had turned babyface, but newsflash: shortly after television, Norvell Austin. No more here in the CWA. With Austin gone, it was Koko Ware forced to go in alone on Monday night at the Mid-South Coliseum with success over both Billy Travis and Ron Sexton in back-to-back singles matches. We'll have to see if Koko Ware continues on the solo run of the PYT or finds a new meaning in life this week.
Yeah, Norvell hopped a train to Alabama and went to work for the Fullers. And left Koko all by his lonesome here to feud with Billy Travis and Ron Sexton. And I don't know if I can say I blame him.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to see what Koko does on his own here this week. We're going to talk a little bit more about those matches as well when we get to the TV. Another big feud that's been going on seemingly forever at this point, and I jumped ahead. Apparently, through the early part of the fall, this will continue on. The Sheepherders. The Sheepherders, Jonathan Boyd and Rip Morgan versus the Fabulous Ones. The feud rages on. A disqualification in every building, every day of the week, every week of the month, with seemingly no end in sight.
Oh, dear God. Can you imagine what Stan and Steve had to be thinking? And then to think that goes on even farther into the year. Holy cow, that is rough, dude. The bloody Yanks.
Bloody Yanks. And I know Stan Lane's not big on just sitting down and talking wrestling, but I'd love, I know a few people that have ins with Steve Kern. I'd love to get his insight into working this particular Sheepherders for the better part of a half a year or more. But lots of interesting, and I put quotes around interesting happenings last week on the title scene, the title picture here in the CWA. Terry Taylor, first he lost the international title to Phil Hickerson, only to regain it 8 days later. You did not see that coming, Gene. I could tell when we were talking about it. And Man Mountain Link also returned to the Memphis territory after a lengthy absence, couple years, I believe, as the Mid-American champion. Brought that back out of the drawer. He returns on a Saturday, lost the title to the King by Monday night.
I was convinced that Terry Taylor had just been booked into the territory to reactivate the international title and go drop it to Phil Hickerson, and that would be that. And then all of a sudden, 8 days later, he's back and he wins it back. I was like, well, okay, there goes that theory. And then Man Mountain Link, as we always say, they get the Mid-America title out of the drawer and go, hey, congrats, you're the Mid-America champion. And he's like, hell yeah, I'm coming in hot. And then they're like, yeah, you're going to drop the Lawler on Monday. Like, don't get too excited.
Well, I mean, that's Memphis logic, like I said, but never fear. Title changes everywhere, but still your Southern heavyweight champion, rest assured, Bota the Witchdoctor, who has apparently taken on a new manager, it would seem, and one Tom Branch. Where is Leslie Floyd Creechman III, you may ask? Never fear. We learned last week on TV that Bota, a witch doctor, mind you, fronted Tom Branch the money to hire a private investigator in order to hopefully find Mr. Creechman, who may or may not have been transformed into a rat.
How do you take that serious, right?
So that's what I was going to say.
What kind of intelligent conversation can we have about the paragraph you just read?
Is it not turning Leslie into a rat that makes me pop the biggest, but it's a witch doctor hiring a private investigator that really,
exactly.
You got to pop for that one, certainly. And I put here in my notes, we already kind of referenced it at the top of the show, but if certain people want us to treat this type of programming, quote unquote, seriously, I got to ask you, if the bookers aren't treating it seriously, why should we?
Exactly. And, even though I know this thing's how it worked back then, but now that things like that WWE Unreal show has gotten so popular and you see them sitting in the room throwing out ideas and everything, like now I want to picture like Lawler, Jerry Jarrett and, Renesto and all of them sitting in a room and them pitching this stuff and just imagining what the reactions would be if that's how it had been handled back then. Because Lord knows it surely wouldn't have gotten out of that conversation if anyone else could have listened to this and kicked it around and thought there's got to be something better we can do. Like, no, I think that whole witch doctor hiring a private investigator, I think that's solid. I think that's good stuff.
Let's have Lance Russell be the filter, right? Everything goes through, fuck that. I don't want to be anywhere near this. Well, that was last week in the Memphis territory, guys. Can't wait to see what they do this week as we move on ahead. We go off now to July 20th, 1985. More CWA Championship Wrestling. Here we are, Channel 5 Studios, Memphis, Tennessee. Evansville feed, however, so we only got another 60 minutes to look at this week. We will go back to the 90 minutes. The latter half of summer, I believe we're going to pick back up with the full episodes. But right now, it is Lance Russell and Dave Brown back right along ringside. So we got the bands back together after a week.
Yeah, that can't hurt. I mean, poor Lance trying to carry the show on his back by himself is quite a heavy load. So Dave's there to kind of bear the burden along with him, it seems.
Where the fuck did you go? Did you enjoy yourself? I bet you did. Don't ever do that to me again.
Well, the weather was nice.
The weather, yeah, indeed. It's like, I haven't been this angry at you since you predicted 3 weeks of snowstorms, Davey. But, oh my goodness, the music video this week, hyping the upcoming action and the talent involved, going to be set to Phil Collins' studio. All right. I don't think they got the rights to that, but they didn't get the rights to a lot of the songs we have coming up here this week. We see a lot of clips this week. I'm not even going to read them all. There's so many names, so many guys in these clips. Very misleading is what I wrote, because there's no way these guys all appear on the TV show.
No. We've talked about this before, but I don't know why. I just absolutely hate this little thing at the beginning where they show all these video clips set to a song that just is so wrong for wrestling usually, and Phil Collins' Studio may be the prime example of that.
It is a little better than Walking on Sunshine, however.
Oh, well, that's That's true, for sure.
Had this been world class, I don't know, I might have walked on. So Tony Atlas would have had Sunshine Walk.
I'll say Tony Atlas would want to flip that around there.
Yes, exactly.
But, like some weeks it has spoiled things, and then just outright misled us at other times. So.
And again this week, because there's like a slew of names. There's like a dozen guys on here, and half of them aren't even in the studio, and I'm being generous there. But we're not going to spoil it for you guys. We'll see what happens here. We kick off the show. Lance Russell refers to what he calls situation where Koko Ware and his partner, no name, were set to go up against Travis and Sexton last Monday at the Mid-South Coliseum, but Koko's partner wasn't there. So Ware was forced to go at it 2 matches, back-to-back singles matches against both men, Sexton and Travis. As we go back to the Coliseum, we hear Lance Russell explaining on commentary that apparently Ware had mentioned to Lancer that Norvell Austin was quote-unquote injured recently and could not go at the Coliseum. Like you said, Gene, I did the looking myself there online, and obviously, yes, Norvell Austin is off to the Alabama territory.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're like, well, what are we going to be doing? Well, you're going to turn babyface and you're going to feud with Billy Travis and Ron Sexton. And Norvell's like, I need to use the phone for a minute. I'll be back. And they didn't see him again.
That's what I was going to ask you. This is just a guessing game, I was going to say, but I was curious your take. What would have made Norvell jump? A very successful tag team with Koko. Maybe not financially here in Memphis, though. Maybe that's what it really came down to. I mean, hey, we're having fun. We gel well. We got, we match our gear. But I need to get a few more bucks in the pocket. Now, that may have been what, and obviously working Travis and Sexton underneath here is not going to get it done.
Right. And that had to be a factor because it certainly wasn't because he was, opposed to turning babyface because we've been reviewing that era of Continental on one of the shows I do. And he actually comes into Continental as a babyface tag team with Brickhouse Brown. So,
we hardly knew ye. No, actually, we knew you pretty well, Norvell Austin, up here in Tennessee. But I think this is his last real run here in Memphis, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think they pop back in as the PYTs because Koko's going to be flying away, so to speak, for long.
Yeah, he'll be off to the Watts territory before. Yeah. Well, so we go back. We actually see VTR footage. It's Koko Ware in the ring offering to wrestle either man. I'll wrestle Sexton. I'll wrestle Travis. But Buddy Wayne, the manager, says his boys are a tag team. And thus Ware would have to wrestle them both or nary one of them. Nary. I always love that word, nary. I've heard that a lot in my household growing up, so I had to put that in my notes. No $2,000. Remember, they were going to pay the PYT $2,000 a piece if they would wrestle again, Travis and Sexton. So Koko would not get the money if he didn't wrestle both men. It wasn't Buddy's fault that Norvell's a no-show. So we see back-to-back matches here. Highlights from both matches. Mid-South Coliseum via VTR, July 15th, 1985. First, it's Koko and Billy Travis. Highlights of that matchup. Buddy Wayne and Travis distracting the referee while Ron Sexton's on the floor attacking Ware. Back inside, Koko going to fire up. Great jabs, drop kick as always. Clearly playing the babyface. He's not tweening anymore. Koko's looking like the babyface here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually kind of worked out that we had this whole $2,000 deal, to suddenly be without a partner. This is really a nice setup that he's got to wrestle the two guys in separate single matches and win them to get that money. So you really couldn't ask for a better scenario in that situation other than, some people may not be thrilled with 85 Billy Travis and Ron Sexton, but they're not that bad. I'm not thrilled with Buddy Wayne as a manager here, and everything we know about Buddy Wayne, we know we know it's a work. He's definitely not putting $2,000 up in any situation.
I was going to say if they put $2,000 up, maybe Norvell Austin would have stuck around if that was legit. Exactly. But it is funny how quickly though the Memphis crowd specifically welcomes. They accept a babyface turn. They're so used to these abrupt turns, sometimes without any logic. And there's some fun going into this one beyond the Buddy Wayne promo. Now Koko getting the sympathy, having to wrestle two guys back to back, and they're really welcoming Koko as a babyface. As Ware with a surprise rolling cradle gets the win in the first match, leading directly into Ron Sexton immediately attacking Koko as we go right into the second bout. So Koko pins Billy Travis. Now it's Ware versus Ron Sexton, one right after the other, ECW style. So after the initial attack, we cut to the Sexton power slam near the end of the match. We're going to get a near fall. Ware then tossed to the floor where it's Billy Travis's turn to attack on behalf of his partner. Koko, though, sneaks an inside cradle back in the ring on Sexton, gets another 3. And it looked to me like Sexton completely kicked out before the 3. And Lance, so he swears it was a 3 count, which means Lance even realizes it wasn't.
Right. Absolutely. It definitely was not a 3 count.
I swear to it. And because it's Lance Russell, we just go with the flow here. Travis, though, immediately attacking Koko after the match. The heels try to get at Koko, but he wisely bails with back-to-back victories. And presumably, I hope he got Norvell's $2,000 as well.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to send it to him as soon as he gets to the old Western Union on Monday.
Lost in the mail is what I was going to say. Oh no! I'm so sorry. Yeah, and a thumbs up at the end right there. All right, we can continue on though. So we saw him in action at the Mid-South Coliseum. Now we're going to get to see him in action right here this week in the studio. Koko Ware scheduled to take on Jerry Garman of what were they called? The Midnight, not the Midnight Express, the Midnight something or other. I can't remember what they called it.
Yeah, they actually had a name last time. That was odd.
Well, we come out of that. Yeah, I can't recollect exactly what it was, but it was something ridiculous. And we come out of the VTR, and immediately we see a shot of the green curtains of doom as Morris Day and the Time begins to play The Bird. I know that song. And shortly after, there he is, Koko Ware, making his way to the studio in new gear, very bright gear, white and yellow gear, a jacket with coattails even hanging there. And hey, Gene, have you heard? He's got a new dance, and it's called The Bird. Koko Ware flapping his wings, doing the familiar Koko Ware Birdman dance that we'd all come to know for years to come. But it all starts right here this week, July 20th, 1985. Put it in your history books. The very first ever Birdman dance.
Yeah, and see, a lot of people just assume that didn't come together till he went to the WWF. You know, they don't realize he started here in 85. He was doing it in, UWF. And so the very first Birdman dance, it's pretty historic. The match isn't so much, but that moment is.
No, definitely not. Clearly, Norvell Austin won't be returning, but he'd make a hell of a Birdman number 2. I would like to see Norvell flapping his wings. That'd be a good sign. The Birdman. That would have been
the Birdman
of Alcatraz, maybe, or something. I don't know. So Koko here debuting the Birdman gimmick on Memphis TV for the very first time. The bell sounds, and Jerry Garman, he doesn't get up for the first body slam attempt. And Jerry Garman doesn't really get up for the second body slam attempt. So Koko Ware, he's going to pivot. He's a pro. Koko going for a power slam, which Jerry Garman also doesn't get up for. So I wrote, you know what's coming next. Brainbuster. Koko Ware gets him up for that one, gets the win in only 40 seconds.
Dude, if I was ever going to not sandbag somebody, it is Koko Ware. If I know I've got to take that damn brainbuster, I would have been jumping out of my boots for him. But, man, that power slam, it looked like he was just slamming a bag of concrete. Like, it was all him, every ounce of it.
Was it not just last week that Garman screwed, we presume maybe he screwed something up, Terry Adonis and Smithson ended that match abruptly with them as well. Yes. They seem pretty pissed off, so I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Yeah, man, that definitely was something screwy about how that match ended. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they get it figured out because, spoiler, Garman's not going to go away. No. He's around Memphis for a long time to come. I remember seeing him there as late as like 87 and maybe even 88. So I guess he figures it out.
Just got to pay your dues. He's paying it here with the Birdman, the brand new Birdman, Koko Ware. As we go off now to a music video. Big John Harris, once again, the John Denver Boy from the Country song, but this time, rather than just see Big John lifting calves and things of that nature, and Jerry Jarrett Tojo, we actually get a match interspliced of Big John Harris versus Jerry Bryant and Tom Branch from the Mid-South Coliseum. So we get a little action here, and I'll use that term loosely. Big John Harris in the ring. How about that?
If they're trying to get me to buy a ticket to see him, they should have stuck with him picking up calves and shit. This not do anything.
Nothing for you. Huh?
Didn't do anything to sell me on coming to see him, seeing this clip of him wrestling those guys.
So if this was Uber Eats, you'd rank him not so tasty, is what you're telling me.
Not at all. Yes.
Okay, I get you. Right. So we're gonna continue on. More action back in the studio, not featuring Big John Harris, unfortunately. Love to see him in the studio wrestling, scuffling.
Hitting his head on the lights in the ring.
Hitting that camera in the corner that they used for 2 weeks. Oh, man. Let's go back to ringside. Yeah, Tom Branch, former referee, taking on Jim Jamison this week. Branch removing his referee shirt. Jamison getting some offense early on. Very weak offense, I might add. Jamison going to telegraph a backdrop. Branch taking over. Solid, stiff forearm shots. Tries a sit-out clothesline. Does Tom Branch, but Jim Jamison forgets to take the bump. Just kind of torques his body sideways while taking the clothesline. I wrote, woof. Pretty ugly matchup here. Vertical suplex, going to give Tom Branch the win. Brother, no kidding. 1 minute and 37 seconds. So this goes about double what Koko did, but I wish it kind of went 40 seconds. It was not pretty.
No, it was not. Yeah, we're getting some awful ring action here in the studio. And the thing is, this isn't live. So this was the best they could scrape up out of the show that we're seeing. I know we've kind of talked about that before, but I know this is 2 years before it. But man, him coming into the ring with having the referee shirt on, and then just the way he wrestles is just such strong, dangerous Danny Davis vibes 2 years early to me.
Yeah, it's a very bland offense here from Tom Branch, but I wrote in my notes, who booked these guys? And what I meant was, we know Jim Jamison, that name's synonymous with, doing the jobs in Memphis, so it's not like it's a new name to me. Jerry Garman, he's still new to Memphis now, but like you said, he's going to be here him and Benny Traylor are going to be here off and on for a couple of years at least to come. And so these guys are pretty much regulars or are going to become regulars, but so they're kind of Memphis mainstays, but the booking, just some of the underneath talent. And I know Memphis we would joke, and maybe it's not even a joke, that they would just pull guys off the streets or from I've heard Mad Dog Boyd was once sitting on the hood of his car and they said, we need somebody, get in here. And they used him once upon a time. So, but these guys, Tom Branch barely has credibility to begin with. Then you stick him in here with a guy who needs to make him look good. And it's not doing anybody any favors using these guys in these matches.
No, not at all. And then, he ends it with just a plain old vertical suplex, nothing flashy or even the least bit impressive. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Trying my best to find something positive to say, but we haven't seen anything as of yet. But I'm still holding out hope that maybe something good's coming.
Well, maybe, but up first, we get another music video, the fabulous one, set to Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA. Of course, they're feuding right now with those evil New Zealanders, the sheep herders, so I guess that's kind of timely. We also get a quick clip. We go back to Monday night, Mid-South Coliseum. Jerry Lawler defeating Man Mountain Link, the returning Link. Lawler missing a fist drop. We see in the clip Link, though, missing the big splash. Jerry Lawler simply rolls over on top. Kind of academic 1, 2, 3 there. Anticlimactic at the very least, getting Jerry Lawler the Mid-American title, your brand new Mid-American champion, the King.
Well, for whatever reason, we don't want to take the Southern title off of Bota the Witchdoctor, but by God, Lawler can't be walking around here without a belt. So let's put this ugly ass piece of tin that we call the Mid-American title around his waist.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at USWApodcast.com.
Hey guys, Ray Russell here. Lots of new stuff happening here at WrestleCopia, and I want to update you on everything going on with the brand right now. First and simple, if you haven't checked out our website at WrestleCopia.com, it's a great way to keep up with the latest episodes of all of your favorite Copia programming, from the Wrestling Memory Grenade to Regional Rasslin with the Territory Talk, the Wrestling Stoop with the legendary Bob Roop, Professor Dan Ginnity and the Pro Wrestling Academy, and all the other great podcasts from Gene Jackson, Bob Smith, Dave Dynasty, and the boys from the Other Ship. And of course, all of those programs also available at your favorite podcast streaming platforms. And if you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the Copia world, all the latest news, random thoughts, fun videos, pictures, and more, make sure to join the more than 33,000 followers over at facebook.com/WrestlingGrenade. Don't be left out. Please also follow us at the former Twitter, now X, at Wrestling Grenade, and subscribe to youtube.com/WrestlingGrenade. Would also greatly appreciate you leaving us a 5-star review at your favorite podcast apps, guys, because every positive review makes our podcasts more visible in the algorithms, if you will, which allows us to continue to grow. Now, for those who have been asking about merchandise, WrestleCopia merch, you can find plenty of designs for our t-shirts, hats, magnets, stickers, coffee mugs, and more over at the TeePublic store. That is tpublic.com/user/WrestleCopia. And last but definitely not least, it's what keeps the entire machine going. I'm talking about patreon.com/WrestleCopia. Now with 3 major tiers and tons of Patreon exclusive next level content for our supporters. Remember, guys, no subscription, cancel any time, but I think you'll like the content that we're offering there for any budget you may have. And you can sign up right now, patreon.com/WrestleCopia. We appreciate your support in helping us pay the bills to keep the WrestleCopia Podcast Network running and enabling us to continue to bring you all the quality programming that we offer.
Hey, it's Bob Smith, and guess what? The Outdated Wrestling Hour is now part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. But hey, no fear, you're still going to hear the unique guests, comedy, music, authors, journalists, funny people. Who knows who's going to end up on the Outdated Wrestling Hour? Remember, it's all new and all old. So check it out, the WrestleCopia Podcast Network, and wherever you get your podcasts. Listen, if you know what's good for you.
I meant to mention a second ago, I got sidetracked, but when we talked about Jim Jamison, have you seen this clip that's going around where Jim Jamison's under the hood as the Invader and Lance like 3 times calls him Jim Jamison?
No,
and then either Dave gives him an elbow or he just realizes it because he just quickly just goes to start calling him the Invader again. And then nobody acknowledges it or says anything, but he's got a mask on and black tights and all this. And he's like, all right, Jim Jamison set to take on blah, blah, whoever it is he's wrestling. It was funny. He did it 3 times. And then he's like, oh, Invader kicked out of that one, Dave.
Oh, the Invader. Yeah, that's the ticket.
Of course, that we've seen that before with Mr. Wrestling Tommy Gilbert.
That's right. I'm still determined that first time was a mistake, and they just kind of rolled with it after the fact. I feel like with Lance giving away the identity of Mr. Wrestling much earlier here in 1985. Right now, though, I think Jerry Lawler's been watching the monitor backstage. He's been watching these job guys because his opponent, Jerry Lawler's entering the ring to take on Benny Traylor at this point in time, and Lawler's not going to give Traylor a chance to screw the match up. The King in the ring decked out in orange and yellow this week. And I don't know what Traylor did, or maybe it was just Jerry watching the other matches, but Jerry comes in with a stiff boot to the gut and a fucking spinning back kick. I wrote, what the fuck was that? I had never seen Lawler use that in my entire life. I posted this on social media a few weeks ago when I saw it. I don't normally take, video clips of squash matches unless there's a good reason, but Jerry Lawler comes with a spinning heel kick, back kick, but I think Eric Bischoff would call it a back leg round kick or some bullshit like that.
Yes.
But
back leg round.
He comes
back leg front kick, he says sometimes too. Like, that's a back leg front kick. Like, what? Back, front, where?
We've been having fun with that as we binge WCW right now as well, the early nitros. But no, Jerry Lawler, I mean, he doesn't just throw a spinning back kick. He comes at like 100 miles an hour. It's like he learned karate this week.
I stopped and backed this up a couple of times because I have literally, in my life, growing up in near Tupelo, Mississippi, right down the road from Memphis, have seen literally hundreds hundreds of Jerry Lawler matches, and I have never before or since seen him do a spinning back kick.
He was pissed off, man. I'm telling you, something upset the king this morning.
Yeah.
You guys can dig back into, I might have posted it on YouTube as well. You can try there, but I know I posted it on my social media. It's been a few weeks ago now, but yeah, that's crazy to see Lawler with that type of offense, but gonna suplex Trailer, then slam him in place for that patented Lawler fist drop. Gets the win in a mere 54 seconds. Lots of quick action this week. Got to save time for the big main event.
Yes, that's what happens when you get in there with the brand new Mid-America champion.
That's it.
Makes short work of him.
That he did. Back leg round kick and all. So we see the king in action, but then we get, and it all starts right here. We saw the debut of the Birdman gimmick. We're also going to see the debut of Jerry Lawler's brand new music video. Also set to Bruce Springsteen. Somebody got the record out this week. And let me tell you something. Springsteen or whoever owns his songs today, they protect this shit pretty close to the vest. So yeah. Clearly not so much back here in the mid-1980s in the Memphis territory. Anyway, Glory Days. This would become a very famous Jerry Lawler video. I've probably told this somewhere before, but when I was growing up in the 1990s, there was a local wrestling organization, and they had public access. And in between their matches, they would just air random wrestling music videos. And two of them were the Kerry Von Erich, Here I Go Again on My Own, and this right here, Glory Days. Jerry Lawler was on almost every single week. So I saw this for years. So it's ingrained in my head. But this is probably one of my more favorite wrestling videos, at least come out of the Memphis territory.
Yeah, that was definitely one of their go-tos for years and years. And speaking of that, like over on 91, Kamala has come in, and in 3 weeks' time, we have seen that Kamala,
yes.
6'4". We've seen that Michael St. John video at least like 6 or 7 times. There was one episode they showed the whole thing twice in one episode. It's like, oh my God, give it a break already with this Kamala video.
Talk about giving something a break. Give me a break. Music video number 2, back to back. We saw the King. Now we see a music video of Bota the Witchdoctor, set to kiss Almost Human. Bota is almost human. He's a witch doctor. I thought that would make him human. I don't know. Those kind of weird, crazy spirit doctors and things like that. You don't quite know what they're capable of. They can turn people into rats, I've been told, and hire private investigators as well. So they're capable of a lot of things, including wrestling in the TV5 studios. Again, Southern champion, still Southern champion, Bota the Witchdoctor out here with his new manager, Tom Branch. His opponent this week, poor David Haskins. David Haskins has had a rough, talk about paying your dues, breaking into the business. David has had a rough go of his first half year in the business.
You ain't kidding. He was the one televised opponent for Cyclops. Mm-hmm. And now here he is with all 4'2" of a Southern heavyweight champion, Bota the Witchdoctor. Poor David.
Well, didn't he debut in the blizzard and like there was nobody in the studio, so Eddie Gilbert decides to ad-lib and throw him out in the fucking snow and bust ice over his head.
They have a 2 out of 3 falls, and he does actually get a fall over Eddie,
right? Just
so they can get that third fall. But then he paid for it because, like you said, he got his ass whipped and then tossed out in the snow.
Hey, you want to win a fall? Be careful what you wish for, David. So, well, here we go again. Bota the Witchdoctor jogging out with Tom Branch leading the way. And as I watch Bota head to the ring, he looks less and less imposing every single week. I think he even got his hair did this week. It looks like Bota's got some nice new hair, not as nappy. And I think he even does a little like skip to my loot. It's like skipping around with his tiki torch, which is really awkward. But he's still got his tiki torch, so it hasn't went away yet. Have we not accepted the fact that carrying this fucking torch is not even worth the fire hazard that it clearly is?
I mean, this show so far, if you pull Jerry Lawler out of it and Koko, this feels like that old IPW. Like, I'm expecting Jumpin' Jeff Farmer to show up any minute now and challenge for the title, because it's almost laughable, honestly, up to this point.
It doesn't even feel like Memphis, right? Like you said, if you take these little segments with Koko and Lawler out and you just look at what's left, it's really disturbing even for Memphis and, the cartoon characters and the monsters, and how un-Memphis-y this really feels for the majority of the show.
Yeah, this seems like the kind of outlaw shows that would run against Memphis, that would be running over in West Memphis or on the outskirts of town. And might get on, local access, cable access type thing. But good Lord, for this to be on TV5, it's just appalling.
Well, Bota in the ring with a variety of chops, but misses a diving chop, and David Haskins going to take over on the offense, scoop slam and a backdrop on a fucking witch doctor, mind you, a job guy. Sorry, David, but a spade is a spade here in 1985. We've got an underneath guy beating up a witch doctor. So Bota going to retaliate with a sit-out clothesline and a double thrust chop. And it looks like he wants to go for the cover, but Haskins says, he ain't having it. I don't know what was happening here. Clearly, David was promised some sort of offense that he wasn't given, and he said, I don't think so. So he kicks and gets up. Clearly some miscommunication here. Instead, Haskins rolls over, gets to his feet, a completely fucked up spot. I encourage anybody who can get a hold of this, go check. I think I posted this too. Bota, though, going to land a kick, which Haskins no-sells. Then David proceeds to miss a drop kick, which Bota does sell, by the way. Haskins then tries to go for a pin to no avail, and Bota comes back with a stiff forearm or thrust chop or some shit. Lance calls it a knee. You can call it whatever you want. It gets the win, 1 minute and 51 seconds. I wrote, holy shit, what a mess.
Our Southern Heavyweight Champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. I don't know what to make of this. It was clear to me that Bota was getting ready to take it home, and Haskins looked like he was on a mission. Like, no, motherfucker. There was a spot. I was getting my spot in. I was told
he wanted to get that drop kick in that he totally missed.
Yes, completely whipped. But Bota sold it anyway, like a trooper.
Yeah, that's when he decides to sell. Like, oh my God.
You can tell things are going awry at the end, though. Whatever that last move was, that strike that I couldn't really tell what it was, it looked pretty stiff. Like, we're taking it home now. Like, even Bota was like, we're done with this shit. And it was over, guys. It was finally over in the longest match to this point in the show, 1 minute and 51 seconds, mind you.
Yeah, because that's the one that needed to put the time in right there, let me tell you.
Yeah, well,
that's the champ, though.
Wait till we get to the TV time remaining match. I'm longing for the Batten twins at this point. As we continue on, go back again to Monday night, VTR, Mid-South Coliseum. Terry Taylor challenging the new international champion, Phil Hickerson, defeated Taylor 8 days prior for the gold. Phil had beat Terry in Jackson, Tennessee, so this is the rematch. Taylor getting a rematch for the belt. Phil, so smooth here, and not like I got to tell you this stuff, Gene, but for his size, what a bumper, great mover around that ring. People have been putting him over a lot lately on social media, and rightfully so, but there's a guy, because he was based in the territories, and in specific territories at that he's never going to get the justice he truly deserves as a talent.
Yeah, I was happy to at least see people really, that people like to say, give him his flowers, so to speak, but, really acknowledge what a talented guy he was for his size, and just really good on the microphone, like just a good all around, worker that Phil Hickerson was. And it was definitely on display here against Terry Taylor in this clip.
Yeah, so Terry Taylor going to slide out of a body slam attempt and slam Big Phil instead. Great struggling backslide spot as well, going to get Terry Taylor a 2 count. Phil, though, coming back with a sit-out clothesline, and as Hickerson goes to slam Taylor once again back into the ring from the apron, Terry going to roll it through into a counter of an inside cradle and get the 1-2-3. Terry Taylor, once again, your international champion. We get about 3.5 minutes, the final 3.5 minutes of the match shown here this week, and a title change. Once again, Terry Taylor, your international champion.
And I would rather they have shown that match in its entirety, including entrances, and cut out 3 of these other matches that we saw.
Or at the very least, the upcoming match. We'll get there. So up next, and I when I go through the listings, I have a little cheat sheet as I go through, just a little brief rundown of the match. Now I check everything to double check, make sure, because I have to correct some things sometimes, matches, music videos, interviews, things like that, with the listings that I was given. But in this particular instance, for the first time maybe in any of my programs ever, I fast-forwarded a segment, or skipped over it, whatever you want to call it here in 2026. I saw a music video. It said Jarrett and Tojo, Barbara Streisand, The Way We Were. And I said, fuck all that trash. And I skipped ahead. So I don't know if you actually watched it or not, but I cannot confirm if The Way We Were really did play, but we were complaining they needed a new song. So you got to tell me, Gene, was it really Barb? Was it Babs?
It was. I just sat there
Why?
My mouth agape, just shaking my head, going, "What and why? What?" That may be the biggest head scratcher yet, and we've had a few different questionable music choices, but Barbara Streisand, and it's Jerry Jarrett's territory. It's not like somebody did this to him. He had the ability to
carte blanche.
Stop that.
He could have picked anything.
He may have even chose it.
Yeah, well, I would not doubt that. I would think so.
If it wasn't for copyright issues, something you said a minute ago, I think we'd put together our own video with just clips of the Batten twins in the expiration of time matches for the first few months that we watched this, with that song in the background.
Yes.
Don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel every time we get to these.
Yeah,
these matches we're about to get to.
That'll teach me to complain about just some semi-crappy stuff when we get to the summer of 1985. Who knew the way we were indeed the Batten twins, how we miss you guys so. Because, oh my God, what do we have coming up here? TV time remaining, tag team action. Gonna see the boys the way we were. Jerry Jarrett and Tojo Yamamoto. Taking on the guy we were just talking about, Phil Hickerson, sadly stuck in this spot. Teaming with Frank Morrell under the hood as the spoiler this week. And, boy, howdy. A lot of time left in this program, Gene. I'm a little scared. We get an extended wrestling battle between Hickerson and Jerry Jarrett to start. Goes on through something like 5.5 minutes. They do not tag out before Big Phil, getting frustrated in the ring, rams Jarrett back into the heel corner. The spoiler going to tag in, but doesn't take long for Jerry to tag out to Tojo and Yamamoto, and it's chops plenty for both the heels. Bump machines for Tojo. You got to be. Jarrett, though, coming back in with the Thez press, connects on the spoiler, but Hickerson with a leg drop going to stop the cover. So the heels then take turns working an armbar for the next 4 minutes. Do the math, guys. And then, ding, 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 the time limit expires. 9 minutes and 38 seconds. Boy, you want to talk about filler and just killing time.
I've told you that many times I've tried watching these 85 shows, and it's usually late in the evening before I get a chance to watch things. And so there were a couple of different of these 85 shows. Like I would fall asleep trying to watch them, and it'd take me 2 or 3 times before I'd get through them. I almost fell asleep at 4:00 in the afternoon trying to watch this match. And all I could think was that Barbra Streisand song was still in my head. And I thought anybody in that studio who saw these guys in their prime are sitting here thinking of the way they were. How ironic, actually.
Yeah. No kidding. I mean, you put that song on and then you follow it with 10 minutes of arm bars and I don't even want to say mat wrestling because that can be entertaining at times. That's certainly not what this was. It was literally, I wrote, it's almost like you're just saying, we got nothing, folks. There's 4 guys who haven't worked yet. We're throwing them out there for you, and they don't want to work for you for free. So this is what you get. So that's what you get. That's what we got to close out the program. I mean, another uneventful episode this week. And as they recap the program at the end of the program, like the episode, like they normally do, Dave and Lance, Dave Brown notes how short the matches were this week, except that last one. Dave was probably sleeping or something. But I got to tell you, man, I've watched a lot of Memphis, and not straight through like we've been doing week after week after week, but I've watched a lot of Memphis over the last 35 years. I do not remember Lance and Dave giving so many hidden signals, these comments that they've made over and over for the last several months that feels like they're trying to get a point across to somebody.
Yeah, I agree. I like that Freudian slip there where your brain made you say, they recrap this show because that's what it was. But yeah, it's almost like they want to acknowledge to the people who are somewhat smart to all of this, like, hey, it's not lost on us. This is just absolute crap.
It's kind of like I'm not in charge. So, for the people out there that get it, I want them to know that I'm with them still. We're still cool, right? Like I can't control what my boss is doing right now. It really is what it feels like right now. We've heard Lance do it. We heard Dave do it. And Dave got to take some time off and he's still sick of it. He's like, I didn't take enough vacation time apparently. poor Dave.
Yeah, 1 week wasn't enough, and poor Lance is probably going to need to just be forced into a vacation for a little bit, or he's going to be overloaded because, I mean, he's kind of tasked with keeping this show afloat and keeping it moving and keeping, the stories going. And man, he's got nothing to work with here. You know what I mean? Like, he's completely handcuffed.
Dave Brown's got to be begging for a tornado warning right about now. Give me a reason to get up from this desk, please.
I hope they hijack another plane, Dave. So
holy shit. Yeah, well, another 19 days away from this shit. I'll tell you that. Oh, my goodness, guys. Well, after the TV comes the house shows. We're going to look at the spot shows and the big shows all throughout the upcoming week here in the territory. Later that evening, July 20th, Nashville, Tennessee at the Fairgrounds. The spoiler, Frank Morrell over Tracy Smothers. Jerry Oski still here working the house shows, defeating Phil Hickerson by disqualification. I want to talk about that for a minute. We got time, so why not? And this is not the first time I've seen this, but man, these guys, we already hear about how guys aren't getting paid. Unless you're working on top here, you're not making enough money barely to scrape by. And then we've seen this time and time again here, just in 85 alone. Guys that haven't been on TV in weeks, but they continue to work the house shows circuit and sometimes even the spot shows, probably for next to nothing. Obviously, because they can't find any other work yet. And we know Jerry's going to go on and get a couple of years run with Vince underneath. But you got to wonder these guys must really, really love what they're doing to, I don't know, stick around, right? Because we see Norvell Austin, he's getting a semi-push. And he's like, I'm not making enough here to get by. I got to go find some work somewhere else. And Jerry Oski can't even make TV. And, and he's still working the house shows weeks later.
It's so weird because he got that big push. He got a win over Randy Savage and was a Southern champion. And, it looked like, oh, man, they're going to put this guy at the top of the card. And then all of a sudden, poof, he's seemingly gone if you only watch TV. But then he keeps popping up in these, house shows and spot show results, but not even a mention of him on television in, weeks, if not a couple of months. So very weird. But, they did the same with Adrian, like you said. There was a few different people who meandered around the house shows long after they had been off TV.
Well, they do the Nashville version of the $2,000 challenge. Instead of Koko wrestling both guys in singles matches, Koko pulling in Jerry Oski for double duty. I'm sure he got paid hefty for this. Not $2,000 though. It's Koko Ware and Jerry Oski over Billy Travis and Ron Sexton. We get a 2-on-1 handicap match. Big John Harris in Nashville over Bill Smithson and Terry Adonis. Tag team action. Boy, look at this one. Jerry Jarrett and Tojo Yamamoto defeating the Wild and Woolly team of Bota the Witchdoctor and Tom Branch. And in the main event, I don't see the word DQ in sight. Could it be?
Ooh.
The Sheep Herders defeating the Fabulous Ones?
Wow. If they didn't specifically list that Jerry Oski Phil Hickerson match for the DQ, I would have thought, they just didn't get into specifics, but maybe they actually got a win there. But boy, Tojo and Jerry Jarrett against Tom Branch and Bota. Boy, that was a barn burner.
Yeah, and that's following the Big John Harris handicap match. So, it's a night of action. Indeed. Well, once again, guys, no Jerry Lawler show this week. They will be returning here soon. Don't worry. We have about 30-some episodes from the year, and once they return, we'll have most of them. So that'll be fun to see who the King brings on, during whatever's left of the softball season and beyond. But we're going to continue on to Monday night in the Mid-South Coliseum, July the 22nd. It's going to be Tommy Montana and Tracy Smothers teaming up to defeat Terry Adonis and Bill Smithson. The Master Blaster has arrived. He scores a win over poor David Haskins. Gets all these guys when they come in. My goodness, the Master Blaster over David Haskins. 6-man tag team action. Going to see Jerry Jarrett, Jerry Oski, and Tojo Yamamoto over Jerry Bryant, Man Mountain Link, and the spoiler. My God, you have Jerry Lawler, Jerry Jarrett, Jerry Oski, Jerry Bryant. Can we have any more Jerrys here in the territory?
They're hunting for them, but so far that's all they found.
Well, the one thing they found was Big John Harris doesn't fare too well, at least by leading a match, right? So we got another handicap match here at the Coliseum, but it's going to be 3-on-2. They've wisely put John Harris with Koko Ware here, those guys being the two. but they score the win over Sexton, Billy Travis, and Buddy Wayne. Buddy Wayne getting in the ring with Big John Harris. That would be a sight to see.
You ain't kidding. Holy cow.
Southern heavyweight title match. The Mid-American title is not on the line. The champion, Mid-American champion, Jerry Lawler, defeating the Southern champion, Bota the Witchdoctor, by disqualification. Bota will retain.
Damn it.
Well, here's one they didn't build up on TV, and they certainly didn't do Phil Hickerson any favors by putting this over on TV based on that TV time remaining tag match. But this one was slated to be title versus hair. It was the international title of Terry Taylor against Phil Hickerson's hair, but it's Hickerson scoring the victory over Terry Taylor. So once again, for whatever reason, Phil Hickerson is your international champion. I can't make any rhyme or reason of this entire story right now.
No, that's very confusing. Well, let's think if Phil would have lost that hair match, we might have got P.Y. Chuha years early.
I would have dug that. I know a lot of people weren't a big fan of that, but I grew up in that. So whatever you grow up in, you don't really ask why, right? You just accept it.
Right.
I always accepted P.Y. I loved P.Y. Chuha. There, I said it. As we continue on to the main event.
He came out, ladies and gentlemen.
I did. I'll openly admit it. I was a Red Rooster kid too. So take that. But
oh my God. There goes the rest of your historian credibility.
Yeah,
Ray. You're
out the window.
You're not going to get invited on the. What is it called?
What was that? Yeah, well,
something like that. I forget.
Well, AM stations, guys. That's all I gotta say. We continue on though. There's a main event here, steel cage match. So we've seen tons and tons of disqualifications here in the Mid-South Coliseum between these two teams, the Sheep Herders and the Fabs. But we're finally going to get a decisive winner here in this steel cage match. Or maybe not. The cage match ends in a double disqualification. I don't know how you do it, but you do it again. I don't think they understand the point of a cage match.
I see stuff like that, and that's just like the disqualification Texas death match we had early in the 85 with Lawler and Eddie Gilbert. It's just like, why book yourself into these corners where you have to completely kill the gimmick because you don't want to have a winner? Like, you put two teams that's been feuding in a steel cage match and it ends in a double disqualification. Well, what are we supposed to think? What kind of match are we supposed to think you guys can have now that can give us any kind of resolution to this when a cage match couldn't get it done?
Well, we'll have to wait and see what other gimmicks they can come up with, because like I said, I cheated. I skipped ahead just looking at some of the Coliseum matches, and these two teams will go at it through the month of October in various gimmick matches. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a bumpy ride here as we continue on between these two teams in like a 5 or 6 months straight of this fighting and a feuding. But right now we're going to move on to the Louisville Gardens, Louisville, Kentucky, July the 23rd. On the undercard, Buddy Wayne in action, taking Les Freeman to a time limit draw. Also, I see Jerry Oski. Boy, if you go to draw with Buddy Wayne, Les Freeman, you might as well call it quits.
Buddy Wayne and Les Freeman in a freaking draw. Holy cow, they must have wanted to kill Louisville for good. Oh, wait a minute. Let's not jump ahead. Good Lord.
I was going to say, if there was ever a match I didn't need to see, and I was a Mark, girl. I always wanted to see every match that ever existed, Gene. But Jerry Oski versus Man Mountain Link in a draw, I'm good there.
We start this show off with 2 time limit draws with those 4 guys. Holy cow.
I wonder if somebody
got to go up from here, right?
Late to the party or something. The reason we had 2 draws right out of the gate, like Buddy Wayne or Les Freeman couldn't do a job. I mean, that was intentional, right? They didn't accidentally go to a draw.
I mean, even if you needed to kill 10 minutes and you went 9.5, just let Buddy hit him with a chain or something. Let Billy Travis come out and trip the guy. I mean, Les Freeman, we haven't even seen him on any of the cards. Why would we give a shit if he lost here?
Right. No, absolutely. And like you said, it can only go up from here as Tojo Yamamoto defeats the spoiler, that's Frank Morrell, by disqualification. So 3 matches in, not a single victory yet here, not a single pinfall in this show. And this is the undercard. We've given them shit about, heavy on the DQs in the big matches. This is the undercard we can't even get a decisive win on.
Okay, so now looking at the next match, I understand why we didn't beat Freeman, but I really don't understand why Freeman didn't win the opening match.
That's an excellent point, because what you're referencing is we did it in Memphis last Monday. Now we're getting the $2,000 challenge here, excuse me, in Louisville. It's Sexton and Travis against Koko Ware and Les Freeman. Now we saw Koko team with Oski over the weekend in the Norvell spot. Why? And Oski's here. Why not Oski again? Les Freeman filling that spot. And Freeman is so terrible that even though the storyline in every other city puts Koko over, not here in Louisville. Koko doing the job, losing. Well, Freeman likely doing the job, but Koko's team on the losing side here.
But at least if Freeman would have beat their manager in the opener, that gives a reason for him to be Koko's partner.
Yeah.
It gives the fans a reason to think, well, this is a done deal. They're going to win. And then at least it would have got some really good heat when he got pinned. But when the guy who couldn't beat Buddy Wayne, the manager, can't win the opening match, we have to assume he's probably going to lose if they get half a chance here. Like, the logic in this shit just, it blows my mind.
Is there logic? It's the Memphis logic. It's the Renesto logic, at least mid-'80s Renesto.
Yeah.
I have to put the asterisk next to that, because every time I just mock Renesto's booking, people, they don't listen to every show we do. They only hear what they want to hear. So they don't hear me put over Renesto was successful and an amazing talent in the ring. They only hear what they want to hear, and that's me bashing Renesto's booking. And I'm sorry, guys, but I mean, he's got a track record going in here. Like he was there for the death of L.A. He was there for a lot of the demise of a lot of the territories here by this point in time. I mean, time had passed Renesto by, obviously. And we're going to continue on, though. We got 2 more matches here in Louisville, including Big John Harris teaming with Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler. The owners of the promotion said, I got to see this guy up close and personal. So they're going to team with Big John Harris, scoring a victory over Bota, Tom Branch, and Phil Hickerson in a 6-man tag. And the main event, right back at it, the Fabs over the Sheepherders by disqualification.
Of course. Boy, don't you know, Phil Hickerson put the time in that 6-man tag.
Yeah, looking at it, I
hope so. If I'm Lawler and Jerry Jarrett, that's definitely who I want in there. And I definitely don't want. So this show we watched was the Evansville show.
Yes.
And so there were some Evansville specific promos in there.
Mm-hmm.
Am I crazy, or was one of those promos not promoting a one-on-one match at some point between Big John Harris and Bota the Witchdoctor, or were they just promoting the 6-man and those were the only 2 people they mentioned?
I remember watching the promos. I didn't really take notes on them. I remember them doing the gist I got out of it was that they were promoting some kind of a Bota versus Harris match. And I wasn't really sure if Tom Branch was going to be involved or whatever the case may be. I see where you're getting at. Now, those promos on this show, I think we're advertising the following week, however, in the Evansville. Yeah. So it's going to be curious to see what they do next week. So,
Can you imagine?
Could it be? Will it happen?
Big John Harris versus Bota the Witchdoctor in a singles match? I would pay to get a tape of that. That would have to be the worst thing that ever happened inside a wrestling ring.
For the Southern title, the most classic Southern title match in Memphis wrestling history. My goodness. Wow.
Goodness.
Well, we are here in Sailors Memorial Coliseum, Evansville, Indiana this week, July the 24th. Jerry Oski and the Spoiler battling to a draw. Tojo Yamamoto pinning Buddy Wayne. It's Ron Sexton and Billy Travis again defeating Koko Ware and Les Freeman. The Sheepherders and the Fabulous Ones battle to a no contest. The Fabs don't even bother to show up at the studio anymore at this point, I should point out. Big John Harris, Jerry Jarrett, and Jerry Lawler again over Bota, Tom Branch, and Phil Hickerson in Evansville.
There you go. I mean, like I say, I can see that working out as a 6-man because, Phil Hickerson can do some of the heavy lifting and John Harris can come in and do one spot like early El Gigante in WCW, when he first showed up, and he would do 6 and 8 mans and come in and chop somebody in the head, and that would be the extent of it.
I want the belt.
Yes. I will kill you.
Kill you.
So, yeah, I can almost see that being potentially passable in a 6-man, but boy, look what we're going to have coming up in Danville.
Well, this is what happens when Eddie Marlin's booking the spot shows in Danville, Kentucky, high school gym, July the 25th. Billy Travis taking on Jerry Oski. Ron Sexton against Les Freeman. Man Mountain Link there against Nobody Does It Like a Thug. Talking about Tracy Smothers there and Man Mountain Link. Buddy Wayne versus Tommy Montana. What a barn burner of a show. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take all of those matches, Gene. And what are we going to do? We're going to bring them back for the old classic 8-man tag.
Spot shows at its best right there, man. That's Eddie Marlin showing how they used to do it back in the day.
Well, you talked about one-on-one matches with Big John Harris. Bota doesn't do spot shows, man. It's Big John Harris versus Tom Branch. Singles action, baby.
Dear God. I can't even imagine what took place in that.
Boy, I have to imagine Stan and Steve got some kind of a guarantee here when they came back to Memphis, working Danville, Kentucky here against the Sheep Herders in the big main event there Thursday night.
With Big John Harris and Branch leading into their big main event there. I'm sure they led into the intermission that hope the Fabs managed to sell some Polaroids to salvage the night.
No Jerry Jarrett, no Jerry Lawler, not even a Bota in sight on this show, guys. And we don't have any results for any other shows on Thursday, but it's possible, certainly plausible, with so many names missing that they were working another town somewhere, or maybe they just said, yeah, I'm not doing that. But whatever the case may be, we usually have some kind of a spot show for Friday. I don't have results for any spot shows this week for Friday night, unfortunately. But that's going to wrap up another week in the Memphis territory. And so we've seen Bota, we've seen Big John Harris. We saw the name, the Master Blaster. He has arrived here. We're going to see more of the Master Blaster in the weeks to come. Still to come also the Condoris from Africa, I believe was the gimmick. Mr. Class, the masked Mr. Class. Taurus Bulba will also be here, but we'll also see some serious wrestling as well. The Mongolian Stomp are going to travel through. The Fabulous Freebirds are going to be here. Harley Race will come to town. So we've got some fun things ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I know Mr. Class is Ken Timms. I don't know who the Master Blaster is right offhand, or the Condoris from Africa. So,
well, the Condoris, I believe they were legit. I mean, that's who they were is what I'm saying. I don't think they really did anything else. I've seen that footage before. It's been a lot of years, and I was not impressed. So I'm looking forward to seeing that again. They make Bota look like Luthez, I think. So we'll see.
Holy. All right.
I think they're a little better shape, though. But now this Master Blaster, I'm drawing a blank right now. So hopefully, I see he's on some upcoming Mid-South cards, Coliseum cards. So hopefully we'll be seeing him on TV before too long. And of course, Taurus Bulba, we'll get to him when we get there. But it's cool. Yeah. We got some real wrestlers coming in as well, like I mentioned. So looking forward to seeing how all of that plays out in the weeks to come here.
Yeah, we got when you got the Freebirds and Harley Race and even the Mongolian Stomper at this point on the horizon, that sounds promising. So
we're just a couple months away, not even a couple months away from the NWA coming in and working a joint show with Jerry Jarrett. The Great American Bash Tour will come to Memphis.
That's right. I'm sure there's going to be some interesting, fun stories surrounding that whole combination of Jerry Jarrett working with Jim Crockett Promotions. So look forward to that.
And one more thing I did notice when I was scrolling through quick results there for the Coliseum, I noticed there are maybe 3 shows in a row in August where they just stack the cards. Now, I'm not saying with a lot of great talent, but they stack the cards. I'm talking 12 matches, 14 matches, 16 matches. So that leads me to believe, and I think you've probably experienced this before in some of the ones you've called. Whenever they do that, business ain't doing too good. It's not so much quality, it's quantity. Just tell them there's 16 matches. They'll come on down to the Coliseum. And I feel like, that's to do that multiple weeks in a row. We don't have listings for the attendance here in the summer of '85, but something tells me they're not doing so hot right now.
And normally, by all accounts, when they start getting those huge cards with all those matches, usually Lawler's behind that.
Okay. So maybe
that's what they said.
Jerry has a little input here in the summer. Obviously, Tom Renesto is still booking based on what's to come. Stay tuned, guys. We'll get to that. But we'll talk to you guys a whole lot more. We're about to close out the month of July, moving into the month of August now. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next.
Yeah. I hate to say it's got to get better. I don't want to jinx us, but it's got to, right?
No, we've hit a plateau. I don't know that it ever gets any worse as of late. It's just I'm waiting for it to get better. There's got to be a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm just waiting for it to turn on. I guess is where we're at.
Yeah, it's got to be. It wouldn't have lasted until 97 at this rate. So,
well, Gene, we did our bitching at the beginning of this week's episode, so I guess this is a good time to let you tell everybody what you've been into, what you got going on, man.
Oh goodness. Recently have added, of course, we've got our USWA show, 91 USWA, that we're getting towards the end of 91. We're in November now, so we're about to wrap up, and we're just going to roll right on into 92. We've got our Power Pro review show that we do now on Saturdays, and it's
Power Hour.
That's right. It's been getting pretty good numbers. I didn't know how people would feel about that, but it's been doing pretty well. And then Rob Helt and Scotty Wentz have started up the Retro Wrestling Review WCCW podcast. It's a watch along. They have started in 1982 and are just going to work their way forward. And myself and my buddy Brandon Wheeler have started up the ECW Review podcast, where we have started doing a watch along, starting with episode 1 in 1993. We did a couple episodes explaining, talking about 92, because I refused to sit and watch 1992 ECW. If you've seen any of it, you know why. And we're starting at episode 1 and going through. Our intention is to go through the entire run of ECW, not WWECW, but at least regular ECW.
Sure.
That's the plan. And so, you can check us out at retrowrestlingarchive.club. That's got links to all the different shows we've got going on over there, and the T-shirts and Patreon and all that good stuff. So if you enjoy this show, you'll probably enjoy what we got going on over there. And if you're one of the people who says that we're not serious enough, then you probably don't want to come over there, and I'm all right with that.
Well, there you have it, guys. Lots of great new podcasts out there for you guys to listen to and watch. And, obviously more right here at WrestleCopia as well. We just dropped the very first episode of Talking TNA this week. I encourage everybody to go check it out. Free for everybody. If you're a patron of any type, paid or free subscriber, you can check it out there. And for guys too lazy to even sign up to the Patreon to watch the video, we've even put it on YouTube as well for you guys to go check out right now. My first guest was John Paz of the two-man Power Trip Empire. We kind of talked the origins of TNA, batted around back and forth, our memories of losing ECW, losing WCW, and what's going to happen next. We need an alternative, and we got that alternative with TNA. Now, I didn't take that route, so it's extra fun for me to get to go back and watch week to week. Everything that's going on there, what happened, because I wasn't there for it. I truly intentionally skipped over it in hopes that someday I could go back and review it. Now, at that time, I was thinking about typing up the reviews, but now we get to do it in video cast form. So a little different, but it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to that and everything Gene has going on, man. Lots more great territory stuff. If you don't have enough here at Regional Wrestling, there's certainly more out there now, and more to come, guys. I got more on my way, trying to put all the Tennessee stuff into its own little shell as far as the Memphis territory and things of that nature, kind of a side podcast we're going to be doing called Rasslin in Memphis. Everything that me and Gene have done, everything me and Steve Crawford have done, everything we've done Tennessee related, Bob Roop shows, etc., will fall under that umbrella, and some new fun little projects in there as well. And Georgia on my mind, we're going to take all the stuff I've been doing with Jamie Ward and Rick Fields, put that all in a nice little bow as well, because I have too many guys with too many projects in the regional wrestling world that wanting to know, when is my show going to drop again, Ray? So they sometimes the impatience. And I said, you know what, guys, I'm just going to take some of these shows and put them in their own little places, and then everybody will be happy. And so that's kind of the plan right now anyway.
There you go. I mean, I know at one time it was pretty easy, regional wrestling, you had maybe 2-3 projects going at any one time, and it's kind of easy to keep up with it, but it's branched out enough now. I think it would be a lot easier for everybody to be able to keep up with, everything if they're in their own little lane. So that's cool. I think that's a good idea.
And, that's the plan for the time being. You know how plans work, Gene. If they work, they work. And if they don't, they don't. But that's the idea at the moment anyways. I want to thank everybody so much for their patience, throughout last week. I had a lot going on. But also I want to thank you, Gene, for stopping back by. I know you got a lot of new programs yourself. So making time, it was worth it, I thought. It's not the greatest wrestling to talk about, but I always have a good time, man.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure. I always have a good time doing these shows with you. And I always had a good time doing the Coliseum video shows, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not upset that I wasn't around for Georgia Animal Steel. So I hope that was bearable for you.
Well,
whomever you brought along for that ride.
There were some fun jokes involved, and I'll leave it at that. You guys want to know? You can check it out at the VIP tier of the Patreon. But we're gonna wrap it up this week. Gene, I want to thank you so much for being here again, man. Looking forward to doing this again sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. We'll see you then.
All right, guys. More regional wrestling right around the corner.